My mid lane matchup for Insanity XX, I don't think there's going to be anything special. It's just going to be like any other game.
What are they like? Overrated. I think they're definitely beatable. They're not like unbeatable gods or anything.
I haven't heard anyone call us overhyped because we normally crap on everyone. So I don't know where that's coming from.
He's better macro than he is mechanical, and I think I'm gonna try to just 1v1 him.
Clean cleanse there by Insanity, who's gonna flash in, gets the Q, takes the target and gets the shutdown!
I don't think he'll solo kill me, but even if he does, he's still gonna lose.
They get the shutdown onto Keith. Blabber's gonna grab the kill onto Piglet. Golden Glue makes his way in, and it's all Cloud9 all the time!
I think we can show that C9 isn't that good at all.
Nice ego, kid.
Hello and welcome to Academy MSI, where the Titans of the Academy series clash for the opportunity to be crowned champion next week. The team's alive and on stage here in the LCS arena to do battle today. I am Julian Pastry Time Card, joined by globally acclaimed portrayer of Phoenixes, Alberto Crumbs Rengifo.
That's right, Pastry. Pyromania is one of my hobbies. You can catch me performing down at the Santa Monica Pier on weekends, presidential holidays, and believe it or not, the occasional rainy day.
Well, yesterday we saw TSM Academy take down Echo Fox in a quick and clean 3-0 series.
And they did so busting out a comp that we had not seen before, the Taric Sona bottom lane. Just honestly a pain in the ass to play against, but TSM also had a Blaze Olive just popping off, and to top things off, they were showing us the Urgot jungle. Surprise, Urgot's a jungler now, and he's really good too. Kind of sucks if you don't know how to play Urgot now, though.
Yeah, again, patch 9.6 did have a few changes, so certainly TSM Academy using all those new strategies to full effect. That resulted, though, in the bracket that you see here, with the last semi-final to be played out today, with Team Liquid Academy taking on Cloud9, with our winner advancing to the Academy MSI Finals to face TSM.
And some of the concerns that you brought up is why did they not choose Fox Academy? Because Fox did lose in a 0-3 fashion, which I find it hard to believe that today we're going to have a game like that. I mean, these two teams came into the semifinal hot.
Yep, former finalists from last split as well, so certainly interesting that Cloud9 chose them as their opponents. But as we get into the match today, let's take a look at the starting lineup. Selecting blue side, it is Cloud9 Academy. In the top lane, Kumo. In the jungle, Blabber. In mid lane, Golden Glue. Bot and support, Keith and Diamond, and their coach, Westrice.
And opposite them on the red side, it's Team Liquid Academy. You've got the top lane by Jenkins, Mike Young in the jungle, Insanity in the mid lane, your AD carry Shoryu, support Matt, and your coach, Arthress.
Now, those of you watching the LCS last week may have got a preview of Cloud9 Academy's playoff form as the 5-man roster made short work of Clutch Gaming in the final day of the regular season.
And in the desk that day, we were actually debating, would this Cloud9 Academy team be good enough to be an LCS playoff team? And that was a unanimous yes. I mean, this team came in and gave the highest gold lead that the entire Cloud9 main and Academy team have had all season long. So they were putting up crazy numbers, and Keith and Diamond in the bottom lane just were exceptional. I think it was a 4-0 Jinx in under 10 minutes.
Yeah, it felt like, you know, that kind of 2v3 outplay happened in the bot lane and the game was over from there. And that's a lot of how Cloud9 Academy games have looked here as well. Despite all that praise, though, Insanity said earlier this week that he plans to take down the Cloud9 Academy mid laner.
And that is going to be our featured matchup today. We heard him trash talking. He's looking over. What's up, Golden Glue? And the stats are pretty close for both of them. Really, first and third in the gold difference. KDA is about the same. Even the damage is only 6 off, and solo kills. These guys are really evenly matched, and I really think that today it's going to be a lot of assassins in the mid lane. Who's going to play Akali? Because when Golden Glue was subbed in, he was playing a lot of that pick.
Yeah, it's nice to think in general, Academy seems like they show a lot more kind of cutting-edge solo queue picks. We saw that yesterday with TSM Academy playing the likes of Urgot Jungle, Taric and Sona. I think in general, these players, they play so much solo queue because that's a lot of how they get their practice in. So, you know, some of that bleeds over into their games. They're willing to take more risks, maybe willing to play picks that other players at the high levels don't feel as comfortable playing on. I mean, Akali, yes, she got gutted after those first set of nerfs, but those buffs kind of brought her back up, and it's taken, it feels like, longer than expected for the LCS teams to pick her back up. But here in Academy, we've seen it all playoffs long.
And that's the great thing about Academy games, where it's just action nonstop. And instead of trying to elevate ourselves or change ourselves to the status of LCS teams and whatnot, we bring solo queue to that stage, and it works every single time. Aggression is the name of the game. No longer does reactive play win you games. You got to be the one willing to make the first move.
And you know, sometimes you have to macro things around, but most of the time you can just try and outplay your opponent. So we should see a lot of those fireworks, especially coming in towards the mid lane. But let's see what the draft has in store for us. Cloud9 Academy have done their research. Kennen, first ban.
You called it. You were asking for Jenkins to receive a Kennen ban because he crushed in the series last week. I think he got a gazillion Zolo kills against Yorick, really just turning these matchups around, and the Vladimir as well. So they're going straight after what got Team Liquid the win last week.
I believe that's still undefeated this season, including playoffs for Insanity. So a smart ban there with the Vlad. Lissandra and Silas going to be the two bans there from TLA. So just taking some strong meta picks off the board. Two good flex picks as well will be taken away.
Yeah, Silas has really gone from people thinking, it's not that good, to all of a sudden, red side must ban it. It just cannot be picked anymore. So if that's the trend that has been happening globally, it should put red team at a disadvantage moving forward, considering that they always have to make that ban.
Yep, you can see a bit more flexibility here. Two target bans for Cloud9 Academy, and now Aurelia, just kind of a good, strong general pick being taken off the board. There's Jace, another flex. Also a very powerful champion will be taken away. And now Cloud9 will see what they have delivered for first pick. It is Thresh, almost insta-lock there for Diamond.
I don't mind that at all. You know, you're not showing anything. You can run a poke comp, you can run a hard engage, you can do so many things with this, and I think that you're better off pulling these really safe early picks to make sure that the other team commits to a team identity first, so that you have a lot more flexibility in your draft. Oh boy, you got countered already. Morgana into Thresh.
Yeah, I mean, it can also go mid. We've seen some of that as well. Actually, Niski, the Cloud9 main team, were playing that with to pretty great success. But I think Morgana, after the Kayle and Morgana changes, Kayle obviously received the lion's share of that rework, but Morgana did get effectively some buffs when those changes came in, and has been a very strong pick so far. So I do like this lane. Zion, nice and safe. Very solid AD carry since she got some buffs as well. But Keith is going to lean back on Jinx here. See a lot of teams fall to this pick because, hey, when you get to late game, it's pretty good, and Ryze, same kind of deal.
And it's really good for just being Lantern duty against the Jinx. I think you're no longer capable of going with an all-in lane, and already we've shown that this is a Morgana mid. I'm going to hold up and say maybe Morgana top, right? Because if Ryze gets flexed, you could theoretically send Morgana up there as well. So lots of picks that could go all over the place. So this second rotation, I think, is going to be super crucial for what the teams ban, because all picks can go anywhere at this rate.
I mean, clearly TLA believe that Morgana is relatively powerful because they were willing to take it instead of taking their support pick and maybe hiding a little bit more. But we're moving into phase 2 of the draft instead, so J4 will get taken away, and we'll see what Cloud9 Academy have as their 4th overall ban for this one.
Jarvan's been so strong around the world. It's kind of crazy how good he's been. You know, you play a solo queue game and you see Jarvan get banned down, you're like, oh, no one would ever go all AD Jarvan in a pro game. This would never happen. Surprised it happens like every second Jarvan game.
Urgot though banned away, so as you mentioned, also a jungler these days.
Artress might be the most blinged out coach I've ever seen on the stage before. The girth of that chain is unprecedented, just like the Urgot ban that before he got reworked into being a jungler now, you'd never see him banned.
He's also an Elise ban away from Blabber, so trying to keep the aggressive junglers out of his hands, which is a generally good strategy when playing up against Cloud9 Academy.
All the early game junglers kind of being really targeted out, because a champion like Lee Sin, while he's an early game jungler, it's so much easier to prevent these crazy dives and crazy high-paced ganks from happening. So it's really Elise and Jarvan that are the biggest culprits, and maybe we'd see guys like Pantheon making a resurgence because they kind of fit the same role, but Rexa is just such a strong pick anyways to transition from the early game into the strong mid game.
Yep, Lee Sin shows up from time to time, but I think with Rek'Sai around, maybe not as frequently. Kayle was also the last ban there for C9A, so clearly respecting the power of that champion. We've seen that a few times in Academy playoffs so far. But of course, Cloud9 Academy have to finish off their draft. This time, yesterday, the Tariq Sona was picked up. It looks like Cloud9 Academy just gonna tease that it's potentially a duo they could pick up. Instead, they've got the Aatrox here, and then one more pick to come as well.
That's going to be a really sick draft out of Cloud9, to be honest. You've got so much kill pressure between all your lanes. You've got the Ruined Prison, the Taunt from Shen, and the Aatrox jungle can do a whole lot. And, okay, forget no Taunt, but you still have a Wall Bash, which is just as useful for you. So I'm really expecting a lot out of Blabber here. And if for some reason he doesn't get going, you've always got Ryze and Jinx to scale. So this is really well-rounded. And I was going to say that Team Liquid needs a lot of damage, and who else to fit that role than the Gangplank?
Yeah, Gangplank, a great last pick when you kind of know what the rest of the draft is going on. So I like it here versus Poppy. We'll see how Kumo navigates that matchup, because of course he played Gangplank in his LCS game at the end of the split there up against Hooney's Lucian, which was no easy task. We'll see how he's up to the challenge of Jenkins' GP this time around. That does, though, confirm that it is Morgana mid, like you alluded to, Crumbs. So I'm expecting a lot of farming in the mid lane matchup, but of course, how they move down, use those TPs, and maybe affect the side lane should matter a lot more as the game goes on.
And not just in the mid lane. I think this is going to be an all bottom lane game for us, because you mentioned that Cloud9 loves to get their advantages through Keith and Diamond, and so when you have tank versus Gangplank matchup that's so static, and then Morgana in the mid lane, you're not killing her. The only place you can really go for any action is going to be bottom lane. So first jungler to get there should be the one that spams jungle difference at the end of the game.
Yeah, and both MikeYeung and Blabber pretty adept as far as jungle pressure goes, so pretty exciting jungle matchup between those two. The Cloud9 Academy, of course, defending champions, looking to win yet another postseason here in Academy, and Team Liquid looking to make their way back to the finals. What better way to do it than by taking out the champs?
Exactly. Go for the tough opponent right away. The obstacle becomes the way. You know, I was talking to Golden Glue and Keith before this match. They were telling me the Cloud9 house does their bed every day. They have maids that do their bed, that do their laundry for them. They don't have to do anything.
Just focus on the game.
They only have to play the game. Everything has lined up for you guys to play the game.
Also, shout out to the Cloud9 Twitter. They've been letting us know all day that apparently it's Cloud9 National Smurf Day. So we'll see if they can actually get... I don't know if that's a real holiday.
Is that how you start a holiday?
You know, I guess you just tweet out that it's this day now and everyone believes you. Well, I guess we'll let the games determine that, Crumbs, because if it looks a little messy again, they may have to delete that tweet. But Kuma going to make his way up towards the top side of the map. Jenkins going to spot him almost, I think, is information there for both. Blabber also in the pixel brush, but looks like MikeYeung just going to dance back and forth, guarding that choke point to the Raptors. Looks like in general, all 10 players are just fanned out, getting a bit of early information.
Yeah, there's nothing crazy, but I really want to see what Blabber does on this Aatrox. He's been such a good early game jungler, and so many guys have struggled to make Aatrox work. They usually say, oh, I'm going to farm and hit level 5 and then maybe go for a gank with, you know, when I'm so high leveled, whereas some of his strongest ganks are level 2. And you can do that when you have a Ryze, when you have a Poppy, before Morgana starts really leveling up that Black Shield, before Gangplank is a lot harder to lock down. So who better to show us what aggressive Aatrox gameplay looks like than the Cloud9 Academy team?
But of course, MikeYeung, another aggressive jungler, and Rek'Sai with Conqueror in this particular game. No shortage of aggression available here as he'll start on the red buff with a bit of help from Jenkins. We can see Blabber leashless on the bottom half of the map. So Keith and Diamond hanging out. Although it looks like they've now been spotted, so just on the wave as Diamond is trying to keep control of this brush.
Yeah, so no fake leash out of Kumo in the top side, so they should know that the Aatrox starts at red side, because you wouldn't start blue as Aatrox. You would want to have that red buff as quickly as possible. And same thing for the top side. While there was no leash bottom, you did see Gangplank go, so junglers fully aware of each other's position, and when that happens, you typically have a more passive early game.
Yep, this does of course mean that the bottom lane pressure we may have expected is where MikeYeung is currently moving, although Blabber right now is actually going to go right side and take this Scuttle Crab first. Nice vision there from TLA, does spot him moving into the river, so the information will continue as Insanity actually might be feeling about walking up and applying some pressure, but with the bot lane pushing right now for Cloud9 Academy, no real point to that. Just at least make sure to get the vision, but Blabber will finish the Scuttle.
Does not get to hit 3 right away, unlike Rek'Sai that does do the double camp, but no matter. I don't think anyone's even going to try to do a dive at this point, so it looks like if we just start farming it up, it should be pretty good for TL, because now you've got the Rek'Sai jungling to the top side, and that's going to allow Gangplank to push up in that lane, be aggressive, get as much gold as possible, and it does help the Team Liquid win condition, whereas Cloud9 is more than happy by getting the Jinx ahead, and you can really see that. Oh, wait a minute. You can really see that in the CS differences, already 19-9.
Yeah, a lot of early game aggression there from Diamond, actually walking straight up to Matt at level 1. I mean, Jinx always thought of this strong late game threat, but you can get a lot of mileage early if you're just willing to play aggressive, and clearly with Blabber vertically jungling down the bottom half of the map and hitting level 3, sure, you will get hooked here. Follow up there, the play lands, ignite down, but it hit Matt. I don't think that's who Diamond wanted to click on.
No, that's definitely the right one. It was just a bad one.
All right, well, bit of pressure off there with the summoner down, but still, again, dominance asserted here for Keith and Diamond in the early 2v2. Not expecting too much trouble though here for Matt and Shoyu, although we'll see as the lane develops. Meanwhile, in mid lane, CS is even, as Golden Glue gonna have to get the rest of these. Does collect the CS under the turret, but Morgana is getting the early push going, which that's been a Morgana thing since the beginning of time.
And see, this is what I criticize about the Aatrox pick, is that if the jungle becomes divided, where it's the vertical jungle, it becomes so obvious where you're going that you really don't have the opportunity to go for the crazy early ganks, and it's still very difficult for the jungle Aatrox to team fight really well compared to the lane Aatrox, and so I think we see a lot more of lane Aatrox around the world just because of that. But the flex power is really what he can do, because you flex him around and then your ganks and all your matchups improve just because of the hidden factor.
Well, we'll see what happens with the junglers now. They've picked up some early items. Killing smites there for Blabber. Challenging there for Mike Young. Knock up here on the bot side. Matt does land the battle dance. Good hook, but Mike Young also here. Onto the chompers they go, but TL just going to back away there. Cloud9 know they can't take the 2v3 this time.
So our first dragon is going to be a mountain, so expect these junglers to move down here quite a bit, especially once Jenkins hits level 6. The Gangplank ultimate assist is going to be a huge deal, so I think Team Liquid should be looking to spread more of their attention bottom just to make advantage of the Gangplank ult, because it doesn't make a lot of sense to use the GP ult in the GP lane. That's really not the power of a global ultimate.
You can see Blabber actually down here now. Diamond only gets a creep. Not sure if Blabber was spotted. I don't believe so, but is using a lot of his time here just making sure nothing else happens, but I think that gank setup will fall just a touch short. Mike Young, though, with the push in bot lane, has started up this Drake. Vision there for Blabber, but I don't know if Cloud9 are thinking to contest. They are going to walk in now, but they're a little slow to the play.
So the top laner is just teleported, and Morgana does have the advantage. If Cloud9 commits to this, they're going to need Rice Flap.
No 6 here either for Jenkins, so doesn't have the GP ult to try and use. Binding hit still on the Blabber, that's a knock-up landing. Chompers down, but that's an easy first blood for Jenkins, who just dinged 6.
And Jenkins gets to use that ultimate. That's exactly why you play to the bottom side. The Gangplank can always help, even though he doesn't have the teleport. I think that Cloud9 was in a bit of a pickle there, and now that pickle's just going to brine further.
Yep,
Gonna gank
yeah.
again.
Down here again, Lantern ready, but Keith can't quite click it. Matt standing straight on top of it, and Mike Young gonna collect the next kill.
That's just not respecting what just happened on the map. The Rek'Sai was just down there, and so you can imagine, sure, you'd rather keep thinking, did he go back to jungle or is he ganking me again? I'm gonna risk it, assume that he's gone jungling, but let's take another look at this one. And what really catches Cloud9 off guard is that Insanity gets to move so fast from the spell trap that he positions himself up close. Blabber can't dodge the bind. As soon as it hits, didn't even have to burn a single flash to get it again. The fact that there was still no vision around here and Cloud9 thought they could easily take this wave means that Rek'Sai gets to come back down once again, and I think he doesn't want to take the Lantern because he's worried and he knows that Mike Young can always flash in the middle and interrupt it. So a bit of a greedy play, but really well played by TL to make sure that there is no way out.
Yep, punishes the mistake nicely there as TLA end up 2-0 in kills, almost up 1,000 gold as a result. Cloud9 will keep farming things up. You saw Golden Glue just earlier pushing in that mid lane. But TL, I mean, I think putting the comp together, you're right, it really just is this plan of, all right, we're going to make sure Keith and Diamond stay behind, and then once we start attacking that lane, just never ever stop. We've got the GP ult you mentioned earlier. It's actually Glacial Augment Morgana as well, so likely some sort of GOP Twin Shadows build, or at least the second item I mentioned, maybe not the first, but certainly good at catching people out of position. Again, not really interested in interacting with Golden Glue in the 1v1, more interested in going to other lanes and trying to pressure those.
And then Morgana can really thwart champions like Poppy. Think of yourself as Poppy. How do you even approach anybody that has a black shield? You can't ever get this done. It's a physical damage. You can't even break it if you try it. Same thing with Thresh. Rise is the only one that can really break through that. So this pick is going to be crucial when it comes to grouping late game and how Cloud9 chooses to play around it. It's a 5-second duration, so it's quite some time.
Certainly is, as Golden Glue is going to move over to try and take this blue buff for himself. Could be easy pickings there, but again, between the Rise and this Jinx, Cloud9 really investing in their strength in the mid to late game as TL currently having the early game advantage.
Holy, look at that. 1, 2. They just placed 2. They had 5 pink boards on all of Team Liquid in under 10 minutes. Right now, they've just placed 2 with 3 remaining in the other members. I mean, they've committed in Vision so much, and here we go. Another dive bottom lane. Jenkins has his ultimate. That's essentially a 5-man, and they have to respect it.
Yeah, again, using that Vision to cover the bottom half of the map in darkness. That gives easy pressure here for the 4-man that is currently down. Insanity flash ult. Black Shield gonna force the flash out of Keith. There's an ult from Jenkins a little late. Binding gonna miss, but Keith forced to use that summoner. And this tower may be forfeit here. Demolish already proc. TL get 3 plates already. But with a wave coming in, we'll see if they can defend this next assault. Blabber is down here now.
Lots of damage onto the turret, but Rise does start to build up a little bit of a lead against the Morgana here, and TL's not going to be able to find
Over the wall, good knock up there onto Blabber. World Ender not even available because he was CC'd for so long, and TLA get their 3rd straight kill on the bot half of the map.
And Mike Young is being so sneaky that no one's able to anticipate what he's doing. Blabber does not expect that Rek'Sai's over the wall, hits the knock-up right away, and the follow-up is so simple, they don't even need to burn a flash for that.
It's a scary thing. If you can't see Rek'Sai, Witcham essentially can definitely see you. As Golden Glue's trying to roam up here and pressure the top half of the map. Cloud9 do need something. Kumo still behind in CS, but one barrel clears out most of that wave. Gold goes to the bot side here for TL, and Diamond does find a hook onto Mike Young, who's trying to get him off the Raptors. Ulti here is going to connect. A good shutdown. Much needed there for Keith. Mike Young there a little too long.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see, but unfortunately the gold goes to Keith, so that's a huge thing for Cloud9. And luckily the bounty system has changed, so it's a little bit less gold than you normally have for the lead that Mike Young just had. So game is a little less swingy, if you were to call it that.
Certainly better than nothing, as Keith the one to pick up the extra gold. But Mike Young, I mean, he just, you know what? I was down here already, we have full control. I definitely saw that ward, but I'm gonna try and take these crows.
Yeah, I think the only criticism there is you have to use these doubles to really block that hook. You have to create a big barrier between the minions and the opposing team in order to make that play, because you never want to truly use your tunnels when you don't have full information. That's a recipe for disaster.
He also might have barely missed that ward. I couldn't quite tell on the spectator vision toggle, but regardless, Mike Young gets caught on the wrong end of a hook by Thresh, and Cloud9 finally get themselves on the scoreboard. Rift Herald also over to Blabber. See if Cloud9 can use that to equalize the turret situation. TLA, though, still up 1,500 gold in this early game, and looking for Mountain Drake number 2.
They're definitely going to be able to get this one, even though Poppy is facing and might be looking for a teleport. The Gangplank ult and the fact that they're already there with so many control wards means that this dragon is just going to be TL. So they can rush it now, and with 2 mountains on the board, this game just changes completely. Now you can go do dragon, now you can go push down the turret and take it with whoever has free roam on it. So TL, I would say they definitely have the advantage right now. Even though the gold is not that much, the Dragons is what's going to let them hit that mid and late game so strong.
Oh, nice quickness combo there for Matt into Golden Blues, forced to flash away. Mike Young there with a flash ult. There's an ult for Zaya as Troyu wants to collect the kill. Will grab it. Golden Glue not enough cooldowns to stay alive as Kumo with a bit of assist here from Blabber and Shelly going to try and take down a turret.
And I love how much TL commits to that play. They know they have to just get the kill, get it as quickly as possible. GP is not going to be able to stop it. Can he survive?
Kumo goes in. Well done, a pop there for Blabber. Jenkins dancing around. Kumo finally going to drop aggro now. Blabber with it back on, but well done. Probably not going to last that much longer. Blabber might be overstepped by just a moment. Perfectly calculates the ult duration, and that's a kill plus the turret there for Cloud9.
That was a tanky boy, but on the other side of the map, Team Liquid is pushing for a tier 2, so who really wins the end of that trade when it takes so long to take the Gangplank and you still get a weaker turret that you also have to commit a Herald? Yeah. So TL is one step ahead macro-wise, and they have just been pushing so darn fast, and I really think that double mountain has been the key to that quick push.
Yep, Demolish plus double mountain makes that pretty easy there for TLA. Shelly did get her secondary charge off, but gets a good amount of the turret health off, but it does stay standing right now for TL. Looks like we've also swapped the dual lane here to mid, so Keith can get a bit more safer farm here. Already with the Infinity Edge purchase, but is matched there by Shoryu right now. As I said, both these carries really do want to move towards the mid to late game as quickly as they can, so a safe spot to farm is always welcome, given that Golden Glue should be okay in the side lanes for the most part.
And if you ask just how quickly they need to move to that mid to late game, it's about 5 minutes left for them to be needing to have to take a fight. The next dragon is Mountain. Again, if you give another Mountain over to TL, they're essentially going to two-man the Baron whenever they want. It just can't happen. So Cloud9, they need to take a stand for this next dragon. So they're going to be making as many moves as possible to set up Vision, to set up their key members, specifically Keith, to take the fight around this objective.
We'll see how they're looking right now. We've got the staff there for Golden Glue, still charging up into the Archangel. Sunfire finish for Kumo. So he's going to challenge for these Krugs. You can see the plate difference, the gold actually even, but as you mentioned, tier 2 turret was taken, and that one doesn't have plates on it, so not quite telling the full story. TLA still up 2 turrets to 1, excuse me, as red buff will be donated over to Shoryu also. As the rest of TLA building up items, you can see Triforce GLP. Now, I did suspect it is actually being built here, and the IE that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, 2 stacks of the Dark Seal. Probably not the craziest thing for a Morgana to have. That could easily turn into a Magi. So Black Shield, you're actually a really safe laner.
Turn into, you know, it's only 2 stacks for now, Crumbs, but as soon as you see 10, you're like,
the second I get 1, I'm thinking, okay, we're starting. Here it goes.
Golden Glue also, it's a binding. Doesn't take too much follow-up damage there from the puddle. Also, only 1 point into that right now. You can see Insanity certainly knows the value of the Black Shield.
Okay.
So leveling that second up.
So you see that timer, minute 37 on the Dragon. Cloud9 already fighting for vision around this objective. Let's look at what lane assignments they go for. Their item completions are as good as you're going to get them. 1 item on most guys. Same thing on the side of TL. So both teams are ready to fight. This is the objective that Cloud9 gets. So what do they do for this? Do they look for a pick? Do they use Realm Warp? Or do they just have superior macro, like Insanity said about Golden Glue? He's just a macro guy, no micro, which, by the way, that's a bit of a diss.
Yeah, for sure.
That's gamer diss.
Rise, though, certainly a champion to put you over the finish line with macro alone. He's going to keep going for the side lane, but as you mentioned, that Drake important, so Cloud9 Academy taking their reset right now as TLA come off theirs. As far as item completions go, mainly just some pieces that will help towards the fight that we are expecting here, but Cloud9 will be back out on the map first. Still have plenty of vision to clear out though, and I don't know how confident they'll be feeling about any sort of 5v5, which will be even tougher given how short mid lane is. You just don't get very much free time around an objective with the minions kind of bouncing back and forth so quickly in the map, kind of being very closed in the center.
Yeah, not at all, but now that there's 24 seconds, Cloud9 has to make a revisit to this vision. They don't have a lot of control wards. Poppy can't support one. Rise hasn't gotten one, and Jinx hasn't gotten to base, whereas Team Liquid, they've got 3 ready to drop. So I think that while Cloud9 put a lot of effort here, Team Liquid should have the upper hand when it comes to vision once again.
Also have to bring Kumo down as well, because he doesn't have a global ulti. I mean, TP might help. Right now, they're actually leaving their Poppy top lane. But TL, again, get that vision, push down mid, and they'll be onto the Drake soon enough. 2 control wards in the pit, just to make sure. If Cloud9 want to fight for it, they have to go soon.
And it's so rough, because how do you start the fight when there's a Black Shield on the side of TL? The fight starts, though.
Yeah, Matt gonna start it off, finds the charm and the knockup. There's the stasis there for Diamond, gonna try and stay alive for a few precious seconds longer. Blabber into the backside of the fight with the World Ender going. Here's Kumo, finally found the TP, but World Ender already gonna resurrect him. That's Blabber back out of the fight, forced to flash as well. TL gonna force him off the Drake, should be able to take it for themselves, and there's that 3rd mountain you were afraid of, Crumbs.
And Poppy TPs, but it's a little bit too late. The engage is way too decisive of TL, and especially it's on the other side. So that's just a great heads-up play. They see somebody coming in, go now. You also get the stopwatch, and this is why the Morgana pick is just gonna be making so many splashes. When you have the advantage in vision and the other team relies on pick, you're just not gonna get it. You need to try a different strategy, and so many times you need more than 10 minutes to come up with a new one. So this is a pick that I'm looking forward to see how it develops in the rest of the series.
Yeah, certainly paid dividends pretty quickly, given that Rise was actually picked into a potential Morgana, but let's watch this exchange here again.
So it's going to be Matt just immediately going, hits the knockup, and while the bind doesn't quite allow him to die on the spot, he does have lasagnas, and everyone just has to escape. There's a GP ult there as well. How do you even get in there? Poppy looks at it and says, "It's not for me, fam. I'm out."
Yeah, great call on the ulti, actually. Zone Keith and Golden Glue away from that choke point, so no way for them to go. And you said it already with the vision. Yes, Kumo's TP was pretty far out of the fight, but there's nowhere else for him to TP to, given that TLA already put down the controllers and cleared out that vision. So things looking good so far. That gold lead still building. 2,000 up for TLA, still up a turret, and 3 Mountain Drakes to a big old bagel.
It's just like the SKT match from yesterday. Instead of 3
Just-
Infernals and a
just
mountain,
like it.
it's 3 mountains and an Infernal. That's right, just like that match, just like SKT.
Well, Keith here with his Zeal. Matching Shoryu now is going to get these pushed back in, but mid turret did go down after that Drake. So a little more map now for TL to play with. I mean, there's still that side lane pressure that Ryze can apply. Kumo has been pretty adamant in sticking to the side lanes as well, but Jenkins should be just fine splitting as he gets more and more items, or fighting if he does want to group. We've talked already about Insanity's power in team fights with the build that he's going with Glacial Augment, and unsurprisingly, Shoryu does win the race to 2 items. Now has that rapid fire cannon completed.
But he's not going to be stronger than Jinx as the game progresses. No matter how strong that Black Shield is, Jinx is still a stronger late game carry, so Cloud9 more than happy to just turtle it up, wait for that really strong 3 to 4 item spike on Jinx. Unfortunately, that 20-minute mark is right here, and Team Liquid is now positioning around Baron. How much time do you give them without vision before you start face checking and you're not just completely worried for your life?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you really can't afford to not have vision for 5 to 10 seconds. Triple Mountain just changes the pressure that the enemy team has on Baron so much, and TL just trying to find a pick here. Everyone gets out of the way, but TL, they clear them all out. Now Cloud9 going to have to take out these minions and go all the way back towards the Baron and try it again.
Yeah, Cloud9 does not have a lot of vision in their inventory, so face checking really is reserved to that one blue trinket out of Golden Glue. That's really their only vision here. Jinx just came up. It's just going to be a battle in the mid lane. Poppy has chosen a group, and Jenkins is waiting on the side. It's a horizontal A ramp, rather.
Blabber got rooted, actually. I think he wanted to go because he popped Worldender, but that cooldown's going to be forfeit for the next team fight. So that's TL's signal just to go back over Baron and either try and start it or bait them in. There's the blue trinket down. They do start the Baron, but they will pull up. Now Cloud9 have to assume they're on Baron.
Ooh, that barrel out of Jenkins, and the ult coming
Nice.
out.
Oh, gets almost everyone there with the slow. It's just Cloud9 running away, but Matt again with the initiation finds Keith. And now Golden Glue going to get chased down. Kumo off to the side. Thanos his ult dodges the binding, and that will be the only death for Cloud9 Academy. Kumo hits the blast plant. Maybe I spoke too soon, but is able to speed away. Still losing a Jinx before a Baron. Real bad news.
They don't have to do a whole lot besides going to the Baron right now. The carry of Jinx is not available, and with 3 mountains, let's look at a live clock. Oh, we couldn't get it on time. The Baron has died before we could start the clock.
And that's it. I mean, the Cloud9 didn't even go and check. They knew without Keith they couldn't contest. They're actually trying to take this mid-turret realm up there from Golden Glue. That's not going to be long enough. They do get out safely, but can't even get the trade before the Baron is done for TLA.
And that's not just a Baron. That's going to be an Infernal as well. 30 seconds on that objective. It seems like all objectives are lining up for Team Liquid this game, and their superior early game has really given them crazy rewards. Let's take another look at this fight. So a huge double barrel actually by Jenkins. The ultimate forces everyone to disperse, and the key moment there is that Diamond used his lantern so quickly that Keith got left alone. Everyone just dogpiled on top of him, your most important member. The second he's out, Baron's just a freebie away.
Yeah, it's Rakan with the black shield on. Not really able to stop that one.
Oh, so hard.
And again, we saw the Twin Shadows chasing Keith. We saw the Augment almost get Insanity a kill onto Diamond, who somehow dodged the follow-up binding. There's just so much pick pressure here built into TLA's comp, and they're using their tools wonderfully. As you said, that Infernal Drake practically free given all the work they've done leading up to it.
And it just sucks that they have no way of actually breaking the Black Shield. You have to wait the duration out. No Poppy, no Aatrox, no Jinx. Even the Thresh doesn't have enough. So essentially Golden Glue has to use his spell rotation on a Black Shield if he wants to break it. It lets Matt be so aggressive. Like, look at this, right? It's still there on.
Finding lands. FLICKR does have World Ender, but TL just don't bother committing. FLICKR does get the big Raptor, able to smite that away and take the Lantern off to safety, but that's about all the consolation right now for Cloud9 Academy.
So I want to see TL take advantage of this Baron a little bit better. I think the 1-4 might be too early. You still have the top outer turret and the top tier 2 that you can start pushing. You can do 3 lanes at once because of how difficult it is for you to get engaged on. You keep Morgana with your dual lane and maybe let the Rek'Sai go split push on the side. Try to maximize what you get out of this Baron because you know that Cloud9 is going to be shooting for that scaling. Try to get as much gold as possible. Now, restrict them to their map so that by the time you get that next Baron, you have full control over the jungle.
Yeah, between Ryze and Jinx, Cloud9's wave clear is actually pretty good. So TL now going to take your advice, Crumbs, and get the push going on in the top half as well. Still a minute left on this Baron, so it doesn't seem like these inhibitor turrets will go down, but still plenty of money for TLA to collect here. I mean, they took the first Baron so early that the second Baron will just continue the snowball. They don't need to do like maximum inhibitor level damage with this Baron. They're just riding the wave that they started with those 3 Mountain Drakes.
Although I have seen some teams just choose to go run it straight down mid, get a pick, try to go for the end. So that would be the super alpha move, but going for this is completely fine. These objectives have lined up so wonderfully for them, and there's just not a whole lot that Cloud9 can do without getting really fancy. So Realm Warp, lots of flashes, and looks like TL's going for another one.
Redemption plus the slows there. Actually, Mikeyoung over tagged Golden Glue, and that's going to be a kill for the Rek'Sai. Matt charged up the ulti, but wasn't able to find a pick this time around. Still, TL use some cooldowns, get a pick, and now they'll keep pushing.
And this is the signal for them to just fully commit. They still have a little bit of the Baron. Maybe they can go for an inhibitor. You've got the Gangplank moving into the bottom lane, and because Keith is half, maybe they can try to go for a crazy dive here.
Likely going to commit to something, at least trying to take down these turrets. Hook lands in to show you, but again, the Black Shield able to save the Xayah despite the early CC coming in, and Jenkins just stands on the turret, takes it down. Now the rest of TL are rotating down. Kumo doing nicely in his 1v1, but the rest of the squad reinforces. The Cloud9, they'll keep their inhibitors, but eventually do lose some more turrets.
That was a really nice Baron play, though. You've got 7 gold ahead almost, so as good as you want it. You can see there on your screen the leads. It's about 1,200 for the Gangplank. Same thing with the Jinx and with the Xayah. So the gold is all allocated in the right place for Team Liquid, and that's as good as you want a mid-game to be. Now they just have to position themselves around the second Baron, and it should be straightforward closing after that.
I mean, the first one was so simple. Now with an Infernal Drake and even more gold given to you, I mean, sure you just finished buying a GA after that Baron power play, so the next Baron is toast.
That's just such a great item right now. I cannot praise that one enough. When you're behind, you don't want to buy defensive because you need to get damage. When you're ahead, you buy defensive because you want to hold on to that advantage. So this is a really good timing, especially with the spree and as they continue to split push. So we've got a minute until that objective. Let's see what TL decides to do about their vision. You already see that their entire inventories are filled with pink boards, and Cloud9's are not. So one team's going to have to step up that control work.
Long range freeze ray there from Insanity as the Twin Shadows do seek their targets. Again, TLA doing that early work, trying to clear out these targets. FLICKR is going to see Jenkins, so he might be a little too far forward. No teammates there. Realm Warp in for Golden Glue, trying to cut him off at the pass, but Jenkins flashes straight into Golden Glue's waiting arms. There's the charge from Kumo for the stun, and Golden Glue gets the kill.
Oh, the day you caught Captain Jack. That's just being super greedy from him. I don't know what he was looking for. But luckily, the rest of the team was in position to push down mid, and with only Jinx here, they might be able to crack this down. Let's see how fast that triple of mountain helps. Okay, it helps a lot.
Yeah. I mean, you know, 3 Adam AD, old Matt going back in again, but Diamond did try and start the playoff. Here's the TP in from Golden Glue. Cloud9 gonna try and win the fight. 4v5 of TLA. Gone too far. Double knock up there from the Poppy Hammer as Mikeyoung unstoppable. Gonna look to try and find an assassination, but stunned straight into the wall as Cloud9 finally find a team fight.
And one play leads to another. This is exactly what Cloud9 was looking for. They have the jungler down. They've got 5 members up, and Baron is up. This is the play that just came down from the heavens to get them back into this game. This is exactly how you hit a late game Jinx.
I feel like Golden Glue baited them. He was pushing a tier 2. TLA said, hey, it's only a 4v4. We can try and find a fight. They're still going to try and contest with no jungler. Diamond there, he's going to get chunked by the barrels. Matt can see them. Shroyu again going to try and take Diamond down. Matt, he can't steal it, can he? No, he does not. Golden Glue somehow gets the Baron. TL make it look close now. Cloud9 just have to get out safely, but still a 4v3 for a while here. Cloud9 will back off, go spend their gold, and all of a sudden they're straight back in this game.
That's going to be 3 minutes where Cloud9 gets to do whatever they want. And let's take another look at this. This is a 4v5 with a teleport available on the right. So you get cocky that the Black Shield does not go through. Matt thinks he can get the engage, but look at that. The box forbids everyone else from dealing damage onto Keith. That buys enough time for Golden Glue to get in the mix, and then it's just an easy cleanup. You've got a 5v3. It doesn't get any easier than that. Morgana is not a DPS mid laner. She hits burst. She helps support. She doesn't even have Sork shoes. She went Ninja Tabi. That's not a burst AP. She needs to take her time.
Certainly does, and TLA tried to rush for the turret. Did get up at that engage. Ill-advised, given the results of that fight. But now it's Cloud9's turn on the power play. 2.5 minutes with this Baron. See if they can't equalize some of these structures. Behind by half right now on turrets. We'll see how much that number gets cut down by, as Golden Glue already working his way towards the top tier 2.
The good news for TL, though, is that even though C9 has hit that late game spike, they have 3 mountains. So you win one fight, you win the game. The inhibitors are already exposed. So all they need to worry about now is how can we wipe Cloud9? How can we position ourselves to ace them? They're not going to give up inhibitors on this push. Just a few towers to even out the gold, but the Infernal Dragon is coming up next, so I believe that that will be where TL makes the decision to go for it.
Yeah, TL actually
go for gold.
got the Ocean somewhere in and amongst the last replay. So many Drakes taken so quickly that we're actually going to have a 6th spawn this game, which is pretty rare. But that last one being an Infernal seems like a pretty nice one to round out some of the early game spiciness we've had. And Cloud9, the 3-item Poppy, the 3.5-item Rise, the 3-item Jinx, they're kind of at the point where they're feeling a bit more confident about their late game. TL, oh, Insanity got pulled back by the chain, and Cloud9 spring the trap. Matt on the other side is going to fall. Insanity dies as well to Kumo. Blabber with the World Ender will likely stay alive. And now Shroyu just getting shot up by Keith. Mike Young also too far forward. Keith flashes the rune, gets the last missile to find the GA Resurrect. And now Jenkins trying to get in there, but Keith absolutely standing tall. No, gets shut down instead. Golden Glue, though, finds the next kill. Now Mike Young dives back in to try and get a counter kill with the Lantern. Keeps Golden Glue safe as he pops back the runes for the shield. Absolute chaos there in the mid lane, but TL fight back.
That fight was so close. You could see Jenkins 1v1 and Keith on the side. I thought Keith would have it, but the gangplank was so tanky, the Ninja Tabis really allowing him to stay in that fight. Let's take another look at how that went down. So I believe it starts off with Diamond looking at Insanity. He gets hit by the W, and the Black Shield gets spent. And the second that Matt goes behind him, the hook is just too easy. So all he can do is get a few abilities off. Without a Zanyas, he goes down too quickly. Luckily, they can trade Poppy, who tanked a few too many turret shots. And while Golden Glue was looking for a way to get onto Keith, he flashes away. And look at that on the side. That gangplank, so tanky. I think in mini form, maybe the Jinx would have been able to 1v1.
Maybe Mike Young tries to make this play happen. Knockup's going to miss, but enough shields to keep Golden Glue alive. Rise, a lot of personal cooldowns used there to get through that, but Cloud9 do escape with a turret and a couple kills. That gold, which was what, about 7,000 up before, after that Baron power play, is now about 2.5. In fact, Cloud9 going to cut that down by even more as they use this last little wave that they've set up to take down a turret. So all of a sudden, 2,000 gold between these two teams. DPO looking pretty good. Again, the slows in from Insanity. Keith pops the stopwatch, needs to stay alive here in the fight. Gets blown up by Jenkins though, and Cloud9, they're trying to take the rest of the fight, but TL just has too much here. The double kill for Golden Glue isn't enough to save the fight, as Mike Young going to try and chase down Diamond. That's Blabber dead on the top half of your screen. It's only Diamond left to try and run away from the Rek'Sai. Mike Young lands the next prey. Good play there from Diamond to keep him safe. No ult here for Mike Young means he has to keep chasing, but there's no turrets to really ward Mike Young off. Hook gonna land, Flay gonna move him back, tunnel again. Won't be up for a few more seconds, but honestly, Mike Young just buying time. TL into the base now.
So the quickest timer is 15 seconds on Keith. I don't think he's gonna make it to save any of these inhibitors. That's 2 for TL with the Baron and Infernal happening in less than 2 minutes. this is checkmate in my opinion from Team Liquid. It's going to be really hard to mess this one up. All you need to do is let the waves do the work. You secure the final 2 objectives. But first, let's see how this fight went down. Because Jinx gets excited right away, but she also dies right away. So I want to see what happened to her. And the really well-placed Gangplank ult is what does her. Because then Rek'Sai gets to come in, and while she does dodge out of her ultimate, she's still stuck in place. She doesn't get to wait out the entire fight. Once she goes down, the other AD carry gets to live. There's just no way out for Cloud9.
Yeah, and I don't know if Diamond didn't have the Lantern or not, but would have been tough to lay it down anyway, even if he did. And a Jinx with no flash is food for a GP ulti, and that's pretty much exactly what happened.
Without a dash or a mobility ability, Gangplank ultimate is way too punishing for a lot of champions. But Cloud9 deciding they're fighting now.
Kumo landed that stun. Looks for Insanity, but the flash is out. Matt now on the front side gets black shielded out to safety. Dances back, Blabber with the Lantern out as Kumo still on the front side looking not that tanky as Golden Glue with a massive flank 1v5 right now. Does he have the Realm Warp? He doesn't. So I don't know how he gets out of this one. Cloud9 at least going to get the Drake, but a sacrifice of their mid lane over. He's dead.
That's the best sacrificial Lambo I've seen in a long time. Just a kill for an Infernal Dragon at this stage in the game. That's huge, actually. Remember, the first Dragon is worth more than the subsequent stack, so you know, you're probably going to lose the Baron regardless, so taking this is a pretty nice price for Cloud9. Now they just have to worry about what's that Baron going to look like with 2 inhibitors.
Yep. Again, they're doing what they can with the minions. Keith buying another BF sword. Ult there from Jinx just to try, but no steal there. TL standing in the right spots. And Baron over to TLA. They're going to maybe look to use this right now with the supers here in mid lane. Keith, though, mowing down these minions. Needs to kind of kill them all, though. Takes the Lantern out. Kuma now on the front side. Fine does hit a minion, and TL are in, trying to take down these Nexus turrets.
They're going for this group here, but Cloud9 did a good job of pushing out top. And I don't think that TL is going to shoot for the end right away. They have not base, so maybe just trying to see what they can get or waiting the waves out. You see Mike Young escorting mid lane, trying to make sure that that gets the Baron buff. Yep. He moves to the top side and let that side get the Baron as well. And with a cannon minion doing a lot of the work, it's just a matter of time for TL to get through.
Yeah, Ryze is back, but again, TL spreading Cloud9 well across their base here. They do get the inhib, so now Super's in every lane. TL might just wait it out. They've got 2.5 minutes on this Baron.
Matt's left. I think they've abandoned the call to dive right now. He's escorting mid lane. Some indecision out of Team Liquid. I think that usually we see them be so headstrong when they make these moves. It's just such a tough one. You know, dive 2 Nexus turrets against a hyper-scaling comp. How do you pull that off? You don't get a lot of practice reps when it comes to plays like that, so you usually take the safe way out, escort all 3 waves to the Baron, and let that do the work. But sometimes when you've got a lot of wave clear like Keith and Golden Glue does, you have to change your strategy and decide to pull the trigger, even though you're not fully comfortable.
Yeah, they're trying to sync the waves, I think, but it's tough. Like, how Baron movement speed to minions affects how quickly they get. That's way too high level for me, I'll tell you that much. So TL are trying to get all the supers to crash at around the same time. And you can see different people moving off to tag the waves, but again, between the Jinx and the Ryze, when C9 get free time with the waves, it's really easy for them to clear them out. And TLA haven't spent the gold they got from winning that last Baron yet, so they're kind of thinking that staying out on the map and that pressure is worth more than the gold they have in their inventory. We'll see if it pays off for them here.
Yeah, the items are really about even right now, and the binding goes out, but the fight's starting. Engage going in.
Oh, Diamond dead. Redemption not enough to try and save him. Blabber, though, does get a kill, but it's only a GA as Kumo going down to show you, gets ignited and gets taken out. Cloud9, nothing left to really play for as Blabber does get mad. They actually get a few kills here. Keith is still alive critically. Insanity almost dead. Blabber flashes out to safety, but Shoyu gonna try and make them pay. Flash Rocket, not enough. Great heal there from the Xayah to save herself.
Oh, and with the Baron minions now, this should be enough of the rocket.
He got the snipe. Keith can still get kills. That's a GA off Shoyu as well. Keith, the last man standing, is trying to shoot everybody down. He's got to deal with 2 members of TLA. He has to deal with the super waves. He has to deal with the Baron buff. Keith is doing everything he can to try and keep Cloud9 in this game.
Oh my god, the Hurricane, he has to pop heal and he gets the kill, but he's now GA reviving. Mike Young's going for it.
Yeah, Mike Young is going to camp the corpse. He's going to take him down. The Nexus exposed. Should be the victory here as Diamond, no. Might be able to chase him off tunnel there for Mike Young. Looking for the Nexus. Diamond, not enough to try and save the game. And there's the last fight as TLA take down the first Nexus.
What a fun ending out of that game. That was so close. I think that Keith found so much time where he was unable to get autos because of the zone that Rek'Sai and Morgana provide to the team fight on top of the Gangplank ult, but he comes through at the end, but just an inch away from being able to salvage that whole deal.
We saw how tough it was for Keith to do much in those fights between the zone of the ultis that you mentioned, between all of the pick potential. And you could see when Keith was unleashed in the fights, he did so much work on the Jinx. But credit to TL's draft, they really just kind of got a lead and then never really gave it back to Cloud9.
Yeah, they played the early game super well. When we saw them against CLG, that was what really stood out for me. When they played well ahead, got a lead, and then just held on to it and compounded that advantage. They did so much work with the Morgana spell shield to prevent Thresh from getting picks that it snowballed the game really well.
Well, let's take a look back here. Replay 17 minutes in. It was the Dragon fight for the third Mountain Drake that Crumbs was oh so keen on.
And this started off with a really nice vision control move out of Team Liquid, and then the Gangplank ult prevents Keith and Blabber from doing anything. Golden Glue has to Realm Warp a little bit late. Poppy is late as well, so this is Team Liquid just knowing that they can go in without the other two members being there. That's the advantage you have when you still have to count on teleports, whereas Gangplank ult, I'm there.
Yeah, that last week GP actually did a ton of work. We'll take a look though with C9. They tried to turtle up and find a way back into the fight, but 27 minutes in, this was the defense they offered.
Yeah, this is the turning point for Cloud9 where Team Liquid goes a little bit too deep because of how much zone the rest of the team has. They're not able to get onto Keith, and it's a 4v5 anyways, and while the rocket goes wide, the play is good enough for Cloud9 to walk away with a big Baron play afterwards that cut down the gold by about 6K, which is a huge amount.
The thing after that, though, is I feel like they baited themselves. They went a little too far mid. They got the turret. They tried to pick a fight that they maybe shouldn't have, and TL was like, oh, I guess we win the team fight.
It's really hard when you have your Jinx as your carry and she doesn't have flash, and then you have to wait for Gangplank, Rex. There's just so many threats, and Thresh Lantern is usually not enough. That's why Tam Kench seems to be the preferred protection carry, because you can just make them disappear.
Yeah, you can't afford to wait 5 minutes for the next flash to roll around. We'll have a look, though, at the game-securing team fight here out of Team Liquid. Again, this is the fight I was talking about. Cloud9, they try on the turret, they maybe think something can happen, and then GP ult shuts everything off.
That's right. It's positioning around Keith and the flank with Mike Young. The slow combined with the Rek'Sai, there's just so much onto the Jinx that there's nothing she can do, really. The Zhonya's would not have helped at any other time. It's just a poor push from Cloud9 that gets punished beautifully from Team Liquid. Because if Mike Young wasn't there, she walks away scot-free.
And, you know, I think we can give Mike Young some credit here. Super early control on the Rek'Sai, pretty much stayed all game long. Was responsible for setting up just about every single gank, and even though there are some dips there where TL, you know, did find a little too much of a tenacious Cloud9 to contend with, at the end of the day, that gold lead pretty much snowballed down, had a small dip, and then straight back to business for TL.
I believe they call him Mike High Tempo Young, just really sticking to the name, because when I see a game where one team has all the dragons and the other one does not, full credit to the jungler. Nobody else did anything. The Dragon and Baron are the job of the jungler. Mike Young kicked ass on that game.
Looking to play a low-tempo Greek, perhaps in the finals. We'll have to see. It was headed for a break, but when we come back, it is Game 2 of Cloud9 Academy versus Team Liquid Academy. The series continues after this.
Do they not understand this is the P1 fidget spinner? This is the P1 fidget spinner. Hey, cameraman, right here.
No 6 here either for Jenkins, so doesn't have the GP off to try and use. Binding hit still to Blabber, that's a knock-up landing. Chomper's down.
Oh, my
Down over the wall, good knock-up there onto Blabber. World Ender not even available. Oh, nice quickness combo there for Matt into Golden Blues, forced to flash away. Mike Young there with a flash ult. There's an ult for Zaya, as Troy wants to collect the kill.
The ultimate.
Nice ult, gets almost everyone there with a slow. It's just Cloud9 running away, but Matt again with the initiation finds Key. He pops the stopwatch, needs to stay alive here in the fight. Gets blown up by Jenkins though, and Cloud9, they're trying to take the rest of the fight, but TL just had too much here.